Subhash Chandra Garg, you're smiling as you were listening to politicians. I don't know whether Praveen calls himself still a full-time politician. He's also a policy person. But I want to understand from you, Subhash Chandra Garg, because you're part of the bureaucratic system. The fact that bribes are paid is one of the oldest secrets. At what level they are paid is another matter. But here you've got specifics coming out. Specifics, individuals, an entire timeline has been put in place. Do you not believe that this should lead immediately to an inquiry called at the highest level? I don't hear a word from ED, from CBC, from all the so-called enforcement bodies who are otherwise jumping at every opportunity perhaps to order an investigation. What kind of an investigation should be ordered based on a US indictment, if any at all?
So, Rajdeep, the contract in question is the SEBI's contract, which was awarded to the Adanis, and which was also awarded to another US company.
SEBI and Solar Energy Corporation of India. Go ahead.
Exactly. So that is the purchaser of those auctioned gigawatts of power, of solar power. And it's also the seller of the power to the states which are in the eye of the storm. It is the one which has also transferred that contract from Ajio to Adani. So in my judgment, it's absolutely clear that the SEBI is the agency which must take immediate notice of it, file an FIR with the CBI, because there is a corruption case involved, and that is what the SEBI must do it.
You're saying under the Prevention of Corruption Act, am I clear? Public servants being bribed?
Under the Prevention of Corruption Act, since the briberies are involved, officials are involved, ministers are involved, SEBI's contract is in the midst of it all. Therefore, the SEBI is the one which must immediately take notice of it and file an FIR with the FBI. The other one, the second is the offenses relating to the securities. So like in the United States, the SEC is involved, and the investors have been duped or misled by false statements. It is the SEBI here which has to take immediate notice of it and issue notices to the company concerned for making wrong declarations and disclosures to the SEBI.
So there are two. So there is one
SEBI
point.
And SEBI.
Can I just? So therefore, what you're saying, one is Prevention of Corruption Act, which should be done by an FIR filed by the Solar Energy Corporation of India, which should under the Prevention of Corruption Act for bribery of officials. Number two, you're saying SEBI should order an inquiry of whether the Adani group in any way lied to them, or misled them or misinformed them and did not tell them about the pending investigation in the United States. Am I correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So
the rest of it, whatever is going on in the political, that's a political mudslinging. That's a wider issue of the political cronyism in this country. That is what we can discuss it separately. But as far as the crime and the violation of the securities laws are concerned, which have come out very clearly in this indictment, and we must take it very seriously. It's a charge sheet. It's a charge sheet which has been filed on 5 specific counts, and there's a very good trail, document-based, evidence-based charge sheet which has been filed. If you ignore it, what is now going to happen? Adani's had to cancel their bonds issue, which means that their access to American markets or his financial markets is getting denied. There's a lot of money sitting over, which has been sort of financed by the FPIs and the foreign institutions and banks, about 80,000 crores or of that type. If those bonds and the loans start getting recalled, and which is likely to happen very soon, it is game over for India's investment story. It's that serious. I don't know whether Indian banks and financial institutions would also act. They must also act, because it's their loans also the equal amount which is involved. But immediately it is SEBI and the SEBI.
Okay.
Which
I just want to add one point that while Tuin Sinha said opposition-ruled governments must respond, there were 4 opposition-ruled governments at the time: Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Remember, Jammu and Kashmir is also named, and Jammu and Kashmir was central ruled. So, you could argue, and before I come to my lawyers, I just want to show this, the Adani group across India. In Telangana, they have an MOU which has been signed in January. In Himachal Pradesh, they have a cement plant, Apple procurement network. Karnataka, 20,000 crore invested. In Rajasthan, they've invested 65,000 crores. Tamil Nadu, they've invested 42,700 crores. Jharkhand, there are investments that it has. In Madhya Pradesh, proposed investment was announced in March 2024. In Gujarat, they plan to invest 2 lakh crores over the next 5 years. And in Maharashtra, semiconductor joint venture with an Israeli firm worth 83,000 crores. Uttar Pradesh, 70,000 crore investment proposals. Odisha, 60,000 crores over 10 years. Kerala also, left-rule Kerala, 20,000 crores announced, quite apart from the port project that's ongoing. Sanjay Hegde, given what I'm trying to get at is, it appears that there is no one party or individual where there's not one state where the Adanis haven't invested. So whatever happens in this case is affecting various cases, states across the country. And SC Garg made an important point. It could also affect India's investment credibility globally. Given all that, how do you think the government of India should be proceeding?
I would endorse what Mr. Garg said. There has to be a criminal FIR investigated by the CBI, whether the Solar Energy Corporation files it or somebody else files it. That is immaterial. And if you look at the indictment properly, the indictment primarily goes after one particular state government, which is the state of Andhra Pradesh. The indictment says that until power supply agreements were signed with the Solar Energy Corporation, this deal could not materialize. So once the first agreement was signed with Andhra Pradesh, based on this documented trail of bribery, then the other state governments could have followed. Now, the point is that all this material and documentation exists in the United States. The United States is prosecuting based on their laws. But everything has happened in India. India can't afford to shut its eyes. So the first thing is, for the credibility of the Indian system of the rule of law, there has to be a criminal investigation. It is immaterial as to where it starts. Right. Mr. Garg is also right about SEBI coming in. And I foresee possibly, which Mr. Sinha said, why doesn't somebody go to the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court, while hearing in the Hindenburg matter, had sent it to a committee. At this point of time itself, the FBI, the inquiries were on. There had been a raid. None of that was disclosed by the Adanis to either the Supreme Court or its committee. The Supreme Court should also be asking questions. I do anticipate quite a few agencies getting in, but maybe there needs to be a coordination amongst them. You actually believe agencies will actually investigate? As you said, given the track record of some of the enforcement agencies, when it comes to some of India's biggest businessmen, let's be honest, it is spotty. And therefore, you seem to be more optimistic than most. But no, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. It would be in the interests of not only the India itself, but also of the agencies, that if you start an investigation, then you can control the pace of it.
Yeah, but either way, there's a huge question mark. Mr. Agarwal, you respond. There are those today calling for, including a former finance secretary on the show, saying there has to be an investigation, both by the CBI on the Prevention of Corruption Act, by SEBI, allegedly because the Adani Group, which is a major input into the stock market, has allegedly lied about this investigation going on in the US.
Yes, they said there should be investigation by SEBI, by CBI, and Mr. Garg also added, with due respect, that there should be cancellation of loan. And with respect, you also said there is an investigation, doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. But please see, somebody has to read this, and one gentleman said that we need not be childish about it. Let us read the judgment. It is not making any sense. No one can connect dots. please see para 45. It says that because of this bribe, $2 billion would have come in profits over 20 years. And para 49 says that $265 million is the bribe given. If $265 million are deposited in a bank account at a rate of 10.64%, it would become $2 billion itself. So it does not make a common sense. Numbers doesn't tell you that. I can tell with my chartered accountant background that why would one pay $265 million bribe to make in 20 years $2 billion one. Two is that Supreme Court says a citizen cannot be hounded by the investigating agencies to know that whether he has committed an offense or not. That is against the right of life, so there has to be some material. It is not as if that you say point fingers at somebody, okay, it is only investigation. And can I tell you, a whole day I defend the people who are accused of various offenses. And let me say on the light side, you know, the moment a person is investigated, it is not so that, okay, you go and you go to a laundry, you go and take a bath and come out clean. I'm sorry, if a person is under investigation in the night, he will not go to the bed, and in the morning he will not go to the loo. So it is not so easy that
are you saying therefore we should just dismiss it as a cock and bull story? Is that what you're saying? A formal indictment by a federal court in the district court in the United States should be dismissed as a cock and bull story?
You yourself have said that it is an indictment. Whether it is a cock and bull story or not, we will know when the evidence comes out. So I don't understand. People sitting in US, they comment about they can have an evidence for the meeting happening in India.
So all the more shouldn't the investigation take place in India where the alleged crime was committed?
Fingers are pointed. You please see, on your channel, there is every day a political debate, and everyone is pointing fingers at everyone. So after the end of every show, there will be people pointing fingers at others. So I think at the end of every Rajdeep, Sardesai show, there should be 6 inquiries, because everyone will be allegations on everyone. So allegations are allegations.
Okay. That's a strong. Allow Praveen Chakravarti to respond. Praveen Chakravarti, here you're hearing a senior lawyer of the Supreme Court making it very clear. Allegations cannot be the basis for what, according to some of Mr. Adani's backers, is a fishing expedition in some way targeting him. They claim this is all part of a conspiracy. Here you've got the BJP spokesperson saying George Soros could be behind Rahul Gandhi. Your response?
I mean, first, let's all grow up. Let's stop being childish. Let's stop being, let's be adults. To the best of my knowledge, this is the first time in Indian business history that a very big business person has been issued an arrest warrant by the FBI. He cannot step foot in America. He will be arrested. It's not some trivial matter. Why is America important? Anyone that runs a big business in India knows that for running businesses, we need funding. A large part of funding comes from America or Western markets. So if Mr. Adani, and I wish Mr. Adani has all the money to develop all the ports and the airports that he has won, apparently fairly through a tender process. Where will he get the money from? He has to go get the money from America, which is what he was trying to do. Why did he go to America in the first place if everything was so managed there? If some George Soros and Mr. Rahul Gandhi was managing the whole system, why did he run there to get $3 billion? So let's grow up here, okay? So everything is not managed. There is a serious charge. There's an arrest warrant. The India's leading business person cannot step foot in America, and he happens to be the Prime Minister's best friend. Let's understand the gravity of the situation here for the sake of Indian business and Indian economy. Let's come together, resolve it. Like I said, we're all for whatever is the process which is fair, which is objective, to put an end to this and deal with it in our own manner and show the world, yes, we have the ability to resolve these issues within ourselves. We will deal with it ourselves.